Hello everyone and welcome to our video. Today I'm here with Jim Delacoli. My name is Emmeline Muldoon. I'm with Emmeline's Astrology and we're here to talk about the new moon in Cancer 2022, which takes place on June 28th, 29th, depending on your time zone. Now, this is a new moon in Cancer. So what do we look at when we look at the moon in Cancer? Now, these two just go hand in hand. Cancer and the moon is, they're just the same type of energy, being at home, nurturing, maternal, that beautiful familiar energy of like the mother being there to look after you, being there to just take care of you, not pushing you, but just taking care of you. So this new moon energy is looking to all of us to see what we want to grow and what we want to build in a Cancer way.
Mm-hmm. The Cancer is a cardinal sign. It's the water sign that gets to hold that cardinal sign title, and so it's where summer begins, or where we want to, as you said, nurture and to build from an instinctual side. Where Cancer falls in our chart, we have an instinctual side that kind of needs to get the emotions behind it to help drive what we're doing. It's going to happen at 7 degrees.
Yeah.
And this is where you need to nurture, build, support what you believe in, right? From more than just a mental perspective. We need to have your narrative, or you need to have your narrative at the front. Action from your knowledge and instincts. You don't need to necessarily get out and promote here, because these are things that you want to build from within, and then you'll get the time and you'll get the place to get out and show what you've done and what you're learning as you develop here and go beyond what others know and think they even may think and feel about you. Now, the moon rules Cancer, so this is a highly, highly, highly emotional time. So wherever Cancer falls, I'm hoping that you take this action that we're talking about here.
Yeah, definitely an emotional moon, a sensitive moon. I think of Cancer energy as being quite protective as well. So there might be that feeling of nurturing or being protective over your family. Cancer season generally, when the sun moves into Cancer, I often think of a barbecue energy, people coming together at the home, making food. Food is another way of nurturing, and being with family, being at home with family. That's the real sort of sense of what the Cancer moon is representing. So that gives you a general flavor of what this moon is. I mean, obviously every year, once a year, we have a Cancer new moon. So that's sort of the general themes when we have the moon there, new moon there in Cancer. Obviously, we're going to look at what aspects this moon is making to the other planets to see how it's going to affect us. Mm-hmm. But for you, generally, if you look at the Cancer house of your chart, find 7 degrees of Cancer, you'll see where that new moon is falling for you and what you want to grow. What do you want to build? How do you want to manifest that energy in that area of your chart?
And the last thing about the cardinal sign, because if some of you don't know what that means, that's where you must take action. So cardinal means action needs to be taken. So know that, understand that. And so from that emotional point, you might find yourself a little more emotional, but you must like plant seeds, or really try to consider from your instinctual side what it is you need and where you're at and what do you want to do with it.
Yeah, I think when I look at this chart and the general sort of energy of it, I think it's a very emotional chart.
Yes,
we might find ourselves feeling very emotional and sensitive that day. It just with the aspects to Jupiter and Black Moon Lilith, it's particularly screams at me as this is an emotional, sensitive time. I think we're all going to be feeling emotionally charged and driven by our emotions during this moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Lilith will uncover a lot of the child, parent, or child realm of the human civilization. So know that. I don't want to go into details on either side. As you and I talked before, Lilith seems to be a little dark, and we don't want to like pin ourselves, because nothing's ever all dark and nothing's ever all light. It's about how we deal with it. But know that those issues in the realm of children will be a little more focused on.
And it's also representative of the unborn
Yes. Yes.
I agree with you. I don't use black moon Lilith usually when I'm doing readings and so forth. I just don't want to bring it up, but she is there hanging out at 7 degrees of Cancer, so she's right there on this new moon. So, you know, I suppose we have to bring her into the conversation slightly today. Okay, so Jim, do you have your chart we can bring up?
Yep.
And then we can carry on, because there's a few aspects that this new moon is making. I think the square to Jupiter is one of the biggest aspects, I suppose, from this new moon. It's a square to Jupiter, so Sun squaring Jupiter. What do we usually think? Oh, that's great, joyful, you know, confidence, bringing out a boost of energy, bringing in sort of strength, vitality when you get those two coming together. But this is Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter's not particularly happy in Aries. It's not that unhappy. I mean, it really likes to be in Cancer where the moon is. But so Jupiter's like pushing forwards. What do you want to do? What do you want to do on this new moon? Where do you want to go? That's the energy that it's driving forwards. But, you know, don't forget, like we just said, this is the Cancer new moon.
Yes.
It wants to be at home, it wants to be staying behind the scenes, working on the emotional needs. So in a way, there's a bit of friction with this square. With it's almost like, yeah, I feel like I can do everything in a month, but you know, maybe realistically you need 6 months to do what you've got to do. It might make you feel like your optimism is it's just too big. It's not realistic.
Right. It won't let me share the screen, so I apologize. It says I'm disabled.
Okay, let me share mine, see if I can get my chart up.
Yeah, and Jupiter expands, right? So you're going to have to do a little bit of work with this, but they're both cardinal signs. Jupiter's in a cardinal sign with of Aries, and because this moon sun's in there, you're really going to want to, you know, action's going to need to be taken. So you might find things that you don't like, or because sometimes Aries brings us to where you know, it gets your emotional side. So you might be very passionate from the plus or negative side here, but just know that we need to do some work here, as a square always calls for work to be done.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, work, maybe tension, friction. So it's making it bigger. I think that's the one thing we can say about this moon is this is a big new moon, because with squaring Jupiter, it's definitely expanding it. It's making it bigger.
Yes.
But it might not be as easy as you might feel it is to do what you're doing, because you might just feel, like I said, hugely optimistic. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, yeah, I see yours. Yeah, and I'm going to add Neptune it's a very weak square, but it's square now. It's out of it's in a water sign, but it's late in Pisces. It's going to be square this as well. And the one thing I always look at when Neptune square any planet, potential for BS to be uncovered, if that makes sense. So sometimes there's hidden with Neptune and Pisces. And so maybe that the hidden in the dark, we feel, we meditate, we dream, and that'll help us advance ourselves here. So know that, try to get yourself in a calm state to where maybe one of those realms can come to bring you to a better place and more understanding, because a chance for BS to be uncovered, but it's going to be work. It's going to be done from your perspective.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think that, you know, it's really lovely having this, like what we're saying about the Jupiter squaring the sun and moon, you know, bringing out that feeling of opportunity and confidence. But at the same time, we also have the Saturn semi-square this new moon. So that what that's doing is kind of the opposite energy of, okay, we're working, we need to put the work in. I think we had a Saturn aspect to the new moon last month as well. There's work we need to do. We can't just get what we want without putting the work in. So when you're manifesting, when you're looking at where you want your intentions to go, you know, it's great, dream big, but just know that you need to follow through with the work there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and Saturn always says you got to do your part. So yes, absolutely. So like we touched upon that last month. Saturn likes us to put our work in. So you know, just you know, dream big and follow through with the hard work as well. Yes. I'm gonna, since we're on Saturn, I'll finish
Yeah.
the aspects I saw, Saturn square Uranus.
Yeah.
And so, Uranus is seeking the truth, and Saturn is about trying to maybe understand things and have the maturation point or the conditioning point understood to a new level. And because they're squaring, we're the truth, and breaking free from bondage. I always, when Saturn and Uranus match up, Uranus is the one trump for me, because I'm always from the negative side of Saturn, and you're kind of at the positive side. But I always look forward to Uranus and Saturn when they pair up in any aspect, in that is a chance for me to break free from a cycle, break free from some knowledge or some understanding that's limiting for me in some way. So huge opportunity here.
Yeah.
And remember, with Uranus being in Taurus, the opportunity is to put the plan together in a more detailed way. And then the ability to stay with and stick with the plan will be up to you, as Uranus is going to bring you aha moments to awaken. And so here's opportunities here, but you're going to have to not swing, even though it's emotional, try not to swing too far anyway, just like absorb here and be a sponge, because we seed plant at this time. So you can get the plan together and start the process.
Yeah. And it's also, it's right there at the North Node as well. They are within 3 degrees of each other. The North Node is hanging out there right next to Uranus. They're not exact yet. They will be the beginning of August, and then Venus also will be in the mix as well, I think, at that point. But they're close enough to be together now in conjunction, that they're going to be exact within August. So really, a sort of this shake-up energy, I think that you were just talking about. This is the beginning of what we're going to really see come out in August as well. Like we're seeing now, we're feeling the beginning of the change, and we might be seeing the change. And I think actually there was an earthquake in Afghanistan this morning as well. So that's the other thing, that when Taurus, Uranus is in Taurus, it's shake-ups of Earth, literally the Earth. So there could be Earth events as well that it's linked to. But we're gonna think back to 2021 in your own life, in your own chart, because Saturn was squaring Uranus. Three times, I think, in 2021.
3 different times,
yeah. So we're going to see, I think, with this coming back, when Saturn, is retrograde right now. So we're really going to see a little bit more of maybe what you were working on last year coming up a final time to finish that, what you're working on, what you're learning.
Yes. I'll move to Mars Pluto square.
Yes.
I put I'm pretty simple. My notes, I put power changes. This is where, both these planets are warring, so to speak. So sometimes the negotiation gets heated, but passion is here. So whether you're on that side of truly like very passionate and you're with somebody that's very passionate and in like mind, or because it's square, it may not be like mind, there's going to be some conflicts and some opportunities here for, I don't want to say warring, but this is a warring aspect. And so the truth is, we're all going to have to figure this out, and figure out where we want to take what we're going to see. So you're going to see things that you're not going to like. I'm going to tell you right now, we don't want to get into a lot of detail there. And you're going to stand for things, right, that you believe that need to be stood up for. So watch as we go and try to not fly off the handle. Careful, because it's going to be easy to do.
Yeah, it's certainly argumentative energy that's coming out. And I think if you look at sort of the symbolism of Mars in Aries, the individual fighting for the individual will, standing up for yourself, squaring Capricorn, Pluto, institutions, the governments. It's almost like friction between what we want, we're standing up, what we're fighting against, with the powers that be, institutional, political. There might be arguments around those areas in your life or within the mundane, the world around us. And I think on that note, it's kind of interesting if we look at this chart, which this chart is set for Charlotte on the East Coast, North Carolina of the United States. But there is what we would call Yod, or some people call it the finger of God aspect at play, and that's pointing right up there to the midheaven in Sagittarius. So you could, this is, you know, DC is not far from here, probably going to have the same aspect within it, pointing up to the midheaven, trying to find the Sagittarius, the truth.
Yes.
And for the higher meaning, looking at where we're going. So that's another area to look for in terms of the United States, because obviously DC chart would be for the country.
And because it's first degree, it's like the initial phases are uncovering of where we are and then where we can go. So know that that's the opportunity that you may have to look at some stuff you didn't want to look at, but it's going to help you get hopefully to that Sagittarian place, which is where we find the truth, but we can expand on the truth and you know, make this world a better place. So I like that aspect, especially from the East Coast perspective. But there's going to be moments where your ego is going to have to go. So it's a fire sign, Sagittarius. So let that ego burn to ashes, and what comes of that, we don't know yet, but there's nothing to worry about. Just stay the course, the plan. It's really about the plan at this time. So
yeah, I think this new moon is really sort of gearing us up for the rest of the year, for all the other aspects that are coming at us later on down the year. Busy time ahead, September, October, November, with the eclipse being on election day over here in the States. There's a lot of stuff that we're building up to, but this new moon is a powerful one, I think, with that square to Jupiter. Use it for yourself, use it to concentrate on your family, on the good, what you want to build, because it's definitely strong for that, you know, for getting your intentions out there.
So a couple more things. Mercury will be square Neptune, which dream to reality is kind of where I put that, and that try to link the two, but because it's square, it might be frustrating, right? You might be communicating a message that you maybe need to clear up, or you might find something hidden that you didn't see, and you're the one deep inside that's going to have to do the clearing up. So careful there. And then the one that I kind of like, even though I'm not a big Saturn fan, Mercury will be trying Saturn. So work you can do here to shed the ego and to learn or to teach what you know, and not come from a perspective that feels like you can't really say what you want or communicate what you want. You'll have chances to do that. Just know that you might be the one that has to take a new direction as you attempt this. So with Mercury and its two aspects to these planets. So careful there, but I would look at dreams, and I would look at teaching or learning something big here, because I think you can advance yourself. But you've got to come from a perspective that your slate screen, your slate is clean, and that whatever gets put on there, you're going to look at it from almost a childlike perspective.
Yeah, that's good. And also, you know, Mercury is happy there in Gemini, so that sort of strengthens it. I think it's wanting to communicate, it's wanting to work on communication. So it's, you know, a good moon to think about that if you wanted to improve the way you communicate, maybe with Cancer, with your family.
Right.
And to think about that as well. Right.
So, I'm going to wrap up from my perspective, and you to me, I listen to you better than I listen to me, but 5 planets in Aries to Gemini, which is the spring kind of section of our charts. And so that's about beginnings and what can I become? What are the possibilities? So you want to look at that with a lot of wonderment and a lot of hope and potential here. And we also have 5 planets in cardinal signs, which you must take action. So really on both perspectives, it's you really got to reassess. And I don't care if you're old like me, middle-aged or young, there's a chance here to truly grow by not being too stubborn with what you've learned up to now, and take these steps and move forward.
Yeah, and I think also if you look at sort of around, you know, 27 degrees of Capricorn, 27, 25, 26 degrees of Aries, I think you might be seeing where you're pulled to be growing, pulled to be doing your work, because that's definitely been an area of a busy area of our lives. If you
Yes.
try and see where those areas fall for you, you might get an idea of what you're working on.
Yep.
Okay, I think that just about covers it. We'll do another video again for the upcoming full moon in 2 weeks' time. Hope you enjoyed hearing from us today about this new moon in Cancer. Be sure to give us write a comment if you have any questions, and we can help you with some areas if you need some more explanation. Happy to help. We'll put this on both of our YouTube channels, so you can find us at, well, I'm Emmeline's Astrology, and Jim, what's your YouTube channel?
Panther Jim 1995. So sorry, we appreciate it. Emmeline, thank you again, and let's enjoy this new moon.
Always a pleasure. And yeah, this is a nice juicy one next week, so
yes.
Make it work for you.
Yes, good luck.
Yes, thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.